Welcome to the Echo Sportscast Spotlight interview.
I'm Paul McLean.
And I'm Ben Sargent. And today we are pleased to be joined by Stephen Hong, the Canadore Panthers men's basketball head coach. Welcome into the hot seat.
Perfect. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So we have a bit of a history here. We used to go to Tweedsmuir together. That
Absolutely.
no longer exists.
Yeah, Tweedsmuir Flames.
Yeah. It was that way. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yes, it was.
That is a long time ago. Wow. Worked with your sister
Absolutely.
here and also at Best Buy way back. I know our sisters were really good friends, lived right down the street from your parents'
Absolutely.
shop, store, George's China Kitchen.
Yep.
Yeah, man, it brings back, it's a small town.
It is a small town. It's amazing when you start making those connections, and it doesn't take very long. If you haven't met somebody, I've been noticing that too, where I'll meet somebody and it's like, how have I not come across you? We know so many people in common, but sometimes that just ends up happening.
And that just happens. Like obviously, the basketball community here is a very small community, but also even just North Bay in general. Like, Ben, I don't think I've seen you in, let's say, a couple of years.
Probably,
right?
Probably like 10 years.
So it's and obviously good to see a recognizable face. And then, I like to say, I think I've known you probably 25 years at least.
That's a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like to think about that. I'm turning 31 and I'm like, oh.
I'm not going to say me, but I'll keep it that way.
I'm going to embarrass myself at my age if I do that. So, well, I mean, speaking, this kind of ties into, we're back to school. Students and athletes athletes especially have been arriving and stuff and getting ready, but I've seen lots of students because I'm still running my kids to camps and stuff up at the school. So how are things going with everybody coming in? This has got to be really exciting.
It's going well. We just started our training camp this past Monday. Guys got in, a lot of new faces. There's about 10 plus new faces, and just in one sense, just like obviously it's a lot more talent in my opinion. But just all just like the character piece too. So
yeah,
that's the thing I'm kind of looking forward to. Like I can't believe it's already end of August already.
Yeah.
So it's been a tough couple of days for the guys already. They're starting to feel
really
it,
hard.
especially some of them coming straight from high school or prep.
Yep.
And there's also some a little bit older guys as well. So it's a process, but it's nothing I trade for really at the moment. So
you talk about characters, and those are essential, especially as you're building a program, because this is still a very young program that you've taken over. Maybe for people that aren't as familiar, like walk us back to where you're at in the program and how things have been going.
So I'm going into my fifth year at Canadore College. I'm very grateful for that. It's trial and process. Trying to first thing when I got this position was surround myself with really good people. Like obviously high character basketball people, but high character. I got Dan Kutu, who's a local high school coach at West Ferris, and then also having Panther alums. John Campbell and Riley Roy, part of my coaching, so that's good. And then just always like having that prior relationship before I got to this position, which is very helpful. So I've known Dan since I was in grade 9, so that's about I can go there 20 plus years. And then DJ and Riley, I've known them for at least 10, 15 plus years as well. So it's more in a sense, trying to start my program with those kind of good people, and I'm just looking forward to work with those guys again.
Yeah. And how, are there, when it comes to recruiting, when does that season start for you? It's a nonstop job for you, right?
It is a nonstop job. Obviously, it gets a little bit more intense, probably during the winter time.
Yeah. Because
that's when all the prep leagues get started. Winter high school programs starting October, November. So you kind of get word of some guys, and then coaches start reaching out about them. But then the big things don't really start until probably in the new year. Mm-hmm. You kind of start seeing, for my team, who's moving on to better situations, and then there's other guys that just who's staying around.
Yeah.
And then you kind of look to see fill in pieces. So obviously, there's a lot of talent in Ontario, and it's also even better to try to keep some of the talent from the north here as well, right?
Right.
Which Absolutely. I've been very fortunate of.
Yeah. And again, I think that's great having the program. Again, for help me even, what are your closest teams? Who else has what are the northern teams that you guys get to compete against?
Competing wise, I'm the only Northern Ontario college team in the north. So we're always traveling down south to play against the best, in my opinion, conference and division in the country.
Yeah.
but it's good in the sense like every game's a challenge for our program, and also we just get an opportunity to get better every single game. So that's good, and you get to test yourself every single time as well.
And when it comes to recruiting, I guess too, like with the college program, what's the maximum number of years a player has eligibility?
Eligibility for the college, OUA, OCAA, it's 5 years eligibility. It starts right away once they get into a game. Obviously, there's situations where guys get into a red shirt, but 5 years usually is the years of eligibility.
But you have the different challenge though as well, though, because the programs aren't that long. So keeping somebody in school.
Absolutely. You know, with being in this position, it seems like I've been minimum 5 to 6 guys each year, just due to guys graduate thankfully in a short number of years, which is great. And then obviously just the whole turnover and just trying to get my team better every year. So it's literally like you're trying to get at least a half a dozen guys each year. But this year it was doubled that easily.
Okay.
Man, I didn't even think about that. The program length, because if you think like the average Nipissing thing, because that was one of my things I was going to ask, like the difference between university and college, like in terms of maybe style of play or what the differences are. But that's a really good point. You might have somebody for 4 or 5 years, almost guaranteed at Nipissing, whereas most are 2-year programs. Maybe maybe trades are maybe a little bit. No, I think trades are even shorter because then you go into apprenticeships. So I guess how do you manage that?
Obviously, student athletes comes first. So make sure they're in the program that they want to be in. Like if they're here, coming to Canadore College, like obviously basketball is one thing, but I really stress to the student athletes and their parents, like make sure you're here for the proper reasons. Because if you're only here for basketball, you're not going to survive. And we want you to invest with your money. Don't waste your money. Come here, take the programs that you want to be in. And I've been fortunate that there's guys that have been a part of my program. They've left with 1 for sure, and then sometimes even 2 college diplomas, which is great. Yeah. And then just some guys may possibly want to go for more, but with us offering those programs and the bridge programs that we have, it's a very great situation for me to be in. Yeah,
and obviously, as Paul was saying, like you're still trying to build this program up. You're playing against super tough competition. Like you don't have a very favorable record. I'm trying to say this in the nicest way possible, but I went through your previous records, and there's a couple of no-win seasons. And so, what is your goal as you build towards having winning seasons and to really build up this basketball program? Do you have like long-term goals or anything you can share with us about that?
Our goals we've already established this year is to make playoffs. No, Canadore men's basketball has yet to make playoffs. When they got back into I think 2012, 2013. So it's been a long time waited. So that's my goal. I've always been thinking about since I got the position here. Obviously, not a favorable record. It's I've always been told, like, if you do the same thing and expect different results, right? It's insanity. So trying to do something and gotta make the proper changes to put our program back into successful seasons, hopefully.
But all those recruiting issues are a real reality because you're going down and you're playing a school in Toronto where a guy who has gone to school for all their high school, all their prep, they don't even have to find a different living arrangement if they just decide that they're going to go to Humber. And I imagine Humber is still one of the stronger, and then who would be the other big dogs down in Toronto?
The other big dogs, obviously Durham and Humber were in the national championships last year.
Yeah.
Obviously, within our division, the top teams, St. Clair, Mohawk would be some of the top teams. That's
Very
why it's
long established programs.
Yeah, and it's a challenge I'm looking forward to, and I think this year coming up, I think I brought a lot of talent this year compared to previous years. So I'm just excited to see how we match up now to those programs, and when we start in October.
Since you've dipped your toe in both sides, right? Especially because Canadore and Nipissing are literally part of the same building, and you've had the opportunity to be on both sides of that. What do you find the advantages and disadvantages of being where you are now versus where you were with Nipissing?
As a coach?
Yeah, just as the program and
it's just more than just different challenges. In the sense of you get you have to make the decisions. I would say I like to say I was invested in Nipissing for sure during my time there, but now it's like even more, being the head coach. I think, with being the head coach, you build up those relationships with, not just with people within Canadore College, but also like the coaches, not just inside North Bay, but also outside as well. Like the past couple of summers, I've probably been on the road at least 120 hours plus.
Right.
So
Yeah.
like I'm down south at least once, maybe sometimes even twice a month. So
yeah.
it's not something like I'm dislike. Like I love going down, just see the basketball, high level basketball down there.
Yeah.
And also just connecting with all the coaches down there that are, trying to put their student athletes in a better situation in post-secondary level.
Maybe take us back to, so we've been talking around this, referencing you were part of the original coaching class for Nipissing when that program started. And then I know you went to Wilfrid Laurier, right? So that was your time, and then came back to Nipissing to do your teacher's college. So when did you know you were going to be a coach? Like when did you?
We're going back.
We're going back, yeah.
We're going back. Okay, well,
5 years.
Well, we got some time. Literally, it's actually back in the days when I started at Silver Birches.
Okay.
Like our volleyball season had just finished, and my volleyball coaches were Larry Malwolf and Cam Neverchan at the time. And then
that takes takes us
right?
back, holy crap.
And then I was like, like what's next? Like, because at that time in grade 4, 5, and 6, you didn't have basketball or anything like that, right? So, Mr. Malwolf and Mr. Neverchan, hey, like Steven, you should try out for basketball. Like I never played basketball in my life. Like never played like the NBA, anything or house league. I'm like, just try out. But then they kind of sold me in the sense like, well, they go on tournaments almost every other weekend, so you get to miss some school. I'm like, all right, sign me up, perfect, right? So in that grade 7 year, I was fortunate to have Bill Carr and Greg Richardson as my coaches in grade 7.
Okay,
and we had a pretty good team, like grade 7, grade 8, and at that time, obviously, just all the grade 7, 8s were together, and I think I got hooked then. I was really involved. Played an NBA for the first time that year. Went to the West Ferris youth basketball camp that they had that year as well, and then grade 8. At grade 8 in that year, Mr. Malwolf and Mr. Neverchan were my coaches then. So great group of guys we had. Went on all the tournaments. Like there's some tournaments I will never forget. Like the Collingwood tournament was like a 3-day tournament. We ended up winning that tournament, which was great, and it kind of got me set up in the sense that before going into grade 9, you get the Mr. Larry Tugas comes and says, like, hey, like, we like to talk to you about, West Ferris, but like I was already going there regardless.
Larry wasn't recruiting it anyway.
No. Honestly, I was a pitching wedge away from the school. Yeah. So it was one of those things like just getting there. And like at that time, like in grade 9, I was like, I knew I wanted to be a coach. I knew I wanted to be a teacher just because of the coaches I was surrounded with me, junior with Greg Barnes, Joel Anthony Sr., and then moving on to, Larry Tugas, Peter Topley, and even Nick Green as well. So it's just those guys, especially, Joel Anthony Sr., just we chat and connect at least once every week, which is great to, and then even to this day, he helps guide me into, some things that, what can we do to be better? And then also just, he continues to challenge me. And then also at the same time, just like, hey, Steven, you okay, man? Like,
he's good at ribbing you when he needs to, but also checking in when you need
to. That guy knows everyone. So it's one of those things like, he's so selfless, and he's almost like another father figure to me, really.
It's interesting to say that because it reminds me of like when Wes Buell got in, right?
Yeah.
And he did his speech. And he was like, I think Doyle Anthony was also getting in.
Well, that's what I was going to say. He spoke later that night.
And so when you say that story, it just kind of reminds me of probably what Wes is going through right now, right? And then when he's sitting maybe in this chair, in 10 years or whenever that is, or probably, honestly, it'll probably be like 15 years. It'll be the same kind of story, which is, I think it's fascinating how much teachers can affect your, like if they never came up to you and said anything, right? Where would you be? We're talking about like, this is your career. You know, so this isn't just like, hey, I have a love for basketball. It's like you've turned this into an actual career, which isn't, it just shows like how much of an impact, especially in those, I would say grade 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like those, like how much of an impact teachers have.
Yeah, I guess it's just more than, teachers. I was very grateful. Teachers and coaches, like they were straight up with me.
Yeah,
like which is what you want as a student or just a person in general. Like be straight up with me, and then I'll respect that more in the sense that they're telling me what I need to hear, not what I want to hear.
Yep.
And it's just also most important that it shows that they care, which is it's very thankful for that. And then and also for me, it's like don't think you're in this alone. It's a whole community, and everyone is here to help each other out. Really, at the end of the day, so that's great. And then just back to even with the coaches, it's like it's funny, like you're always repeating what they're saying. Like even with my time at Nipissing University, I know when Chris Cheng started there, and even Thomas being there now, it's like we always talk and conversate, at least once a week as well. Yeah. It's just like now I always find myself like I'm almost talking like Coach Cheng, or even talking like Coach Corey at times too, right? So it's kind of good in that sense, and all great people, and not just great basketball coaches, but also great people as well. So it's always great to surround yourself with those kind of people at the end of the day.
Yeah. I always find sometimes one of my hardest things is to listen, because sometimes I'm so excited around people like that for me, where it's like I want to tell them what I'm doing because, you want as much as I definitely want their approval, I'm sure, but like it's like you want their input too, because it helps to shape the ideas that you come up with and how you coach, because that's the best way that we can learn by sharing. So
no, absolutely. Like for me, I still like to consider myself a young coach. I'm trying to learn from any and every coach as much as possible. Going down south, and whether you're connecting with other college or university coaches, national level team coaches. I was very thankful to be in the position to be involved with Canada basketball the past couple of years, and it's not even so much X's and O's. It's just like just the team culture, and just like talk stuff about life as well. That's the things that I kind of enjoy the most out of it. It's like basketball. I always tell the guys, basketball you can only dribble it so much. It's like in preparation for what you want to do after that. That's the main piece. And I just tell them, we're trying to prepare you for when your time is completed here at Canadore College. Like, hey, Mark says, hopefully I've done a good job of providing you the tools for you now to be successful afterwards.
Yeah. Is there, because I know, we talked to Joey, right? And he's somebody who went from OUA to something else. Do you get people who are at a point where they're like, hey, I still want to do basketball. I see this as a future. Obviously, you need to be realistic with them about a plan B, because that's just the way life is. But what's the path for some of your players in terms of going and being able to play overseas, or being able to play in some of these IBB leagues?
Well, again, one of my recruiting student athletes, I talk to them about like what you're trying to do. Like, are you trying to go into college, university? A lot of guys say the youth sports, obviously, because it's the top college league in Canada. And I just be like, hey, no, it's great. Like, but if you're really familiar or you're very knowledgeable of youth sports, it's not many first year, second year, even sometimes third year guys are seeing consistent minutes, unless if like you're a stud, right? So I always try to pitch it to not only the players, but even the prep coaches. Be like, hey, have your player come, be a part of our program for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, right? And again, with my connections with the coaches in the OUA and even some of the youth sports as well, it's like, hey, now you have all the experience as ready as a first year or second year guy compared to the other first year and second year guys that are on youth sports teams. So they're already prepared with all that, the game repetitions. So when they go and transfer to a youth sports school, it's like, hey, now you're already there. Like obviously there's some adjustments you have to do here and there, but you're already battle tested, and now you're ready to move up to the youth sports level.
Do you find a lot of kids, and probably their parents too, I guess, are a big part of the recruiting process, are receptive to that message, understanding, like, it makes total sense to me. You're going to go there, I'm going to get reps, I'm going to contribute and be a leader. That's going to help me when I go on to the next level that I want to, versus getting to the next level immediately and sitting around and doing nothing. Not that you're doing nothing, but you're not
Yeah.
being able to have learned the leadership. And
Yeah, absolutely. So it's like it's when they're here, they're kind of like thrown into the fire the first couple of years right away, right? So you kind of tell them that, and then at the same time, they also have to make sure they're on top of their academics too, right? So you know, not just the college programs that we also, but also like the bridge programs that we offer as well. It puts them in a better situation of hopefully getting to all the credits transferred over to the university that they may want to go to. So that's definitely a huge selling thing, and it's great now. I think a lot more of the prep coaches, or even high school coaches, are starting to see that too, and I'm okay with that. Like again, we're OCAA schools for summer. You know, we're almost like the JUCO of Canada, right? I mean, that is fine. Like as far as we're trying to keep all the talent in Canada as much as we can, and then also for the players, like you get to stay home a bit more or closer to home instead of going down south, right? You get to stay closer, and you get great competition, great coaching, and everything's all available for you to be successful, not just on the court but off the court, in hopes of preparing you for what you want to do after.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about tactics. I'm not a huge basketball guy. I watched the Raptors run. That was about it. But one of the things that you see a lot in the OHL, or you see in the NCAA, or all these things, when you have a very limited time with people at college, do you find, especially now that you're maybe getting them for 2 years and they're kind of almost using you as a stepping stone to maybe university or somewhere else, you can't really have enough time to gel or teach them stuff, right? So how do you kind of manage that from a tactical standpoint when you try to teach maybe certain, not positions, but certain run plays and stuff like that? Like, how do you handle that, knowing that you're getting these almost a new team every single year?
Yeah. No, you just build up from the ground up. Like, I would say a majority, if not all, of my student athletes, they've come from very renowned high schools or prep schools, so they've been coached at a very high level. So when they get here, it's almost the same, but obviously just a little bit different terminology. And then obviously some slight changes or
influences from one coach to the other, and where you land is
exactly. And then just the big thing is not really just X's and O's. It's just like just making sure like everyone's kind of on the same page. Like everyone is speaking the right way, or speaking almost the same. Like for me, it almost gets scary when the players start using my terminology, not even just the terminology of on the court. It's just like what I say that doesn't relate to the basketball stuff. It's like don't get too high, don't get too low. It's take it one day at a time, and know that don't listen to the tone of my message. Just listen to what's being said. So that little things, but like going back to the X and O's stuff, it's just what's our defensive principles and offensive concepts, and then it's very focused based on execution, and also at the same time, like for these guys, like they're all talented players, right? So like, hey, you gotta also, I'm giving you all the tools now. Show me what you can kind of do with them at the same time. Which is it's good. It's good to see you have a whole range of different kind of players, and then some guys are just so talented, like they can just kind of go get a bucket whenever they want to. But also, it's almost as good to see those kind of guys that you kind of give them a concept, and like they grab it and they run with it, which is great too as well.
And make it easier for those guys who get buckets to be able to get the buckets, because they're getting the ball to them.
What kind of coach are you? Because are you doing a lot of probably not a lot of basic learning? Like, you're not teaching them the basics. It's kind of when they get to that level, usually you're doing higher level stuff, obviously, right? But what are you, more of a hands-on kind of coach? Are you more of do you yell at people? Or do you take a step back? What's your philosophy?
I would like to think I was more just like, I'm gonna be straight up with them. Like I don't yell. I don't think it's obviously you have to use your time and place. Like if you're yelling the whole practice, at the end of the day, by the end of maybe in the week 3, like it's gonna lose your touch, and it's like, oh, coach is yelling again. And it's all right, another day, right? Whereas you kind of choose your moments, when it's gonna be effective, and when it's best for your team, right? Like practice is one thing, but games, it's like like you got to want to compete. You got to, you got to know that, there's only 200 minutes up for grabs, right? So it's like, whether it's, 30 minutes, I always say, whatever it's 30 minutes or 30 seconds, like you got to be the best of your role as much as possible. And you got to be a star at that role.
So what's
I'm just still actually processing what you said about the 200 minutes, because that's really a way for a player to, because everybody wants playing time, right? And you got to earn that. That's the real currency there.
No, absolutely. Like all these guys that they're coming from high school and prep, like they probably played.
They were the course
25 or so minutes, right? Whereas, we only have 200 to give out, and I can only dress 14, right? So, hey, and most likely I'm probably not going to play all 14. So it kind of gives them a bit of a reality check in the sense that every possession counts. You gotta execute, you gotta perform, you gotta compete at a very high level, and know that you gotta be very efficient with the minutes that you've earned. I'm not giving you any minutes; you've earned it at the end of the day.
And one of the hard conversations for coaches to have are those tough conversations, whether it's cutting people or it's not giving them minutes, and then I guarantee you're probably dealing with some level of either parents or entitlement where they feel like, hey, I'm paying to go to school, like whatever you said, maybe in a recruitment message or whatever. How did you kind of get over or learn to deal with those kind of situations where you've had to have those hard talks with people?
Sorry, this is different. Are we talking about the college level, or are we talking about club basketball level?
Or like
those
just
are
the
different
college,
conversations.
yeah, it's just the college level, and especially at the college level, because I think it's a little bit of a different.
I actually, I haven't been in that kind of situation yet. Parents calling me about their kids' playing time.
I'm glad to hear that hockey hasn't crept its way into basketball in Canada yet.
I'm actually really shocked at that.
But that's great.
I'm straight up with the guys, and I think they respect that even more. Like, I'm not gonna sign Ben here and be like, hey Ben, like when you come to Canadore College, I'm gonna promise you 20 minutes and 15 shots. And then
you haven't seen me play.
Yeah.
You probably would give me 0 minutes, but I'd like to think you'd give me all 200.
Yeah.
I remember seeing your sister play back in the day, and she was a pretty good player. So.
She was. She got all the talent.
Okay.
I did not get the basketball talent.
No comment.
She's still got eligibility left.
My nickname was Brick because I would just throw bricks up. That's all I did.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it wasn't a good one. You know who gave it to me? Bill Carr did.
Really? Bill Carr? Oh.
Yeah.
And he would say that. He would say that.
Well,
too.
yeah, and especially because I knew them all because my parents worked there, and I know all these teachers, right? So it was just funny because I remember that. I'm like, that was kind of a rude nickname. Now that I think about it.
Hey, back to the Bill Carr. Like, this is always a story I always remember about him. It was like, he was my first basketball coach, and he is one of those coaches and teachers that I want to get better at basketball, right? So he would be one of those coaches that would let me in the morning at 7 a.m.
Yeah,
and just like, hey, go get better. I'm like, great. Like, you're always thankful to have those kind of teachers and coaches in your life because, hey, they're giving their time away, but also they're more than happy to do it because they see that you're a student athlete that's trying to get better. Right?
Yeah,
that's always what
it's
I'm trying
amazing
to be as a coach.
What it's certainly by no means insignificant, but it's something that they do instinctively, and then it has this lasting impact that here you are talking about it. They're 25 years later. Like, I mean, that's incredible.
No, I'll never forget. Bill Carr, Mr. Bill Carr would always be driving that big blue van or caravan he had. Mr. Carr is here. Great.
Yeah.
All right, time to go in the gym now.
Yeah. It's funny when as you get older and you realize like they don't have to get to school until like 8:30 or whenever everybody else does. So it's like he got there early, right? They could leave right at 3:30. I remember there were a couple of teachers who would just book it out of there right at 3:30.
Knocking kids over in the parking lot on the way to their car. Yeah.
But even the coaching, like that's all volunteer. Like it's no different when you look at your parents as you get older and you go all the stuff you sacrificed and the stuff that we take for granted and you don't realize it. Coaching's that same kind of thing. I mean, it's a little different at the collegiate level and the university level because it's your job. Like that's part of your job. But when you look at high school and lower, it's not. Like they do it because they have a love for it and they want to help the kids out. And that goes across. That's not just sports. That's like arts or anything like that, right?
No, absolutely. I always tell like people, that want to get into coaching, be like, hey, you got to have 2 feet in, you can't have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like it's, you got to have a passion for it. And for me, when I got into coaching, it was just want to kind of give back. Like, I had the coaches ahead of me. I kind of want to give back to my community as much as I can. It's people say, like it's because of your job, but like, no, I'm just grateful to be in this kind of situation.
How did you get into coaching? Was it at the university level, or was it before that in club?
This is a long story too.
That's okay.
I started after I was done playing basketball in high school. So I went to Laurier for my first year. Came back home for the spring and summer and got involved with coaching just the local NBA. And actually, the funny thing is that first year, I had Mike Dupel and Jerry Dupel was one of my best friends coaching with me too. So we had so much fun. It was and the kids were great. Like they were just soaking in all the knowledge. They're asking questions, which is great, and it's something that you don't see nowadays.
I was just thinking that, like, in trying to project that onto like my kids' sports teams and where they're landing, it's still so much parent involvement, and when you can step away from it and that debate over non-parent coach, like there's benefits to both, but I have definitely been a part of seeing some amazing things too, where those kids, they'll just listen to that person that's not their parent or someone else's parent better. It's more relatable, their experience and the enthusiasm, and it's so much fun to coach those kids when they're not your kid.
Yeah. When they're not your kid specifically,
yes,
exactly what that's like. Yeah.
But and you do a lot of stuff club as well, and like that's been a heavy involvement in the school.
So like after coaching in the NBA, right, and again Nipissing Basketball Association, I had an opportunity to coach, give back to West Ferris, coach their junior teams there for a couple of years, and then also coach some pretty good student athletes at Whitfield Secondary School as well. So we did a lot of fun things. We were fairly successful and won a couple NDA championships, won a NASA championship when I was a junior coach. But the thing is, like, even like that time, like the girls, like, again, you have familiar coaching girls, but same thing. They just want to listen. They want to learn, right? And the thing
ask
is,
questions.
Like, they ask questions.
Why? Why? But they'll do it.
Absolutely. And the best thing is just like these kids, like they love basketball. They love to play basketball, and they just wanted to be in a situation where they're challenged, and then also they're in situations where they're taking all this knowledge, and it's good to see like some of them want to be coaches, and which is great. That's the best thing as a coach. Like you see other people want to be coaches too, that you've coached yourself. It's like that's almost one of the best feelings as a basketball coach.
I think the weirdest thing was last year we talked to one of the coaches. I remember Dave did an interview and I'm like, that person looks way too young to be a coach. I was like, they're my age. And I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Because it used to be just like the coaches were like the middle-aged people who've been there forever. And it's kind of weird to think like, you're at that point, right? You're at that age. But when you did high school, how did you feel? How did you kind of manage that? Because it's kind of a learning point for them, but it's also not, you can't just be like, well, you're not good enough to play. Like, how do you balance the kind of winning and the learning?
I think at the end of the day, like, you kind of break it down your season. Like at the beginning of your season, you're just trying to like really implement and build your team up, tell them what we were expected of you, what's our expectations, our standards, right? And then you just kind of see how it goes throughout the season. Like, do you make some changes here and there, and then you kind of make adjustments, like, what do we need to continue to work on, or what are some things that, that we got to do to get better, or, is there something we need to change up, or, get rid of some things, right? Addition by subtraction. That's always been in the thought process with myself and my coaches. And it's good. It's like you have a collective respectful disagreements, but it's good in the sense like everyone's trying to find the same solution at the end of the day. So that's great.
Again, it's from that part of the coaching too. That's another thing that unless you've done it, you'll never understand that camaraderie that you have. And you do have disagreements and not always on the same page, but sometimes that pushback at the end of the day, you got to make the decision, and sometimes that's really valuable information. And even if I don't agree with you, I value what you said to me because that helped me make the decision.
Yeah, again, surrounding yourself with very good people. Not even just me now at Canadore College. Also, when I was coaching high school and club too, it's like everyone kind of respects each other's opinions, which is great. And then it's great at the end of the day. Like you make a decision like, all right, this is what we're going to do, and then once you've made that decision collectively, everyone's now on board. And like, all right, like now we're going into the next phase of for us to be better that day.
Yeah.
So as we kind of wrap up here, and your season starts mid-October. I think it's
Correct.
October 9th or 10th or something in that
I think
range.
it's after Thanksgiving, so
maybe. There's 53 days left because on the website it has a little timer there. So we talked a little bit about your hopes for the upcoming season, but maybe just give us a quick little rundown on maybe some of the players, some of the stars you've got coming back, or the people who we should have an eye on.
Perfect. So I only have 3 guys coming back. Definitely, I would probably talk about Levi Coombs, who's from Kapuskasing. He's pretty much locked himself in the gym this past spring and summer.
Yeah.
And there's been days where I'm like, you need to relax. Like, go for a walk or something like that. So it's great to see that. His improvement's been great to see. Him training with some of the guys here, and then also some of the Nipissing guys as well, and they have to do the run. So you're starting to see that improvement. Not only is he a good athlete, actually, he's a really good athlete.
Yeah.
Right. And then can shoot the ball very well. But like that's even improved for him, and then also just his things outside of that too. So it's good to see that. Another one probably be Woodley Shimmy, who's from Edge Prep in Calgary, Alberta.
Okay.
Right? So again, not a heck of a talent, like athleticism wise, it's up there for sure. And then just the other thing is just the whole character piece too, right? Like he's 19, 20 years old, but when you talk to him, you don't feel like you're talking to a 19 or 20-year-old kid.
Yeah.
So that's good to have those kind of high character people part of your program as well. And then another one would probably be Favor Kongwa. So he's from the Vaughan area. He has a older brother that plays at Ontario Tech, but Favor, I've known him for probably like 4 or 5 months already, and it's when you those guys where it's like you don't talk to one of your friends for a while, and then when they come back and it's feel like you haven't
never
lost
pick
touch
up right
like
away.
Yeah, that's what I feel like when I'm chatting with him. It's just like he's all about for basketball, but also like we chat about stuff outside basketball too, which is I kind of enjoy too, because obviously basketball is one thing, but I'm also trying to build a relationship with these guys outside of basketball as well. So and then start have some fun, and then have some camaraderie, and then just knowing since we're all here for the right reasons, and we're all here for together for everyone to be here.
And for people wanting season tickets, help out, contribute, sponsor, get in touch with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually free admission to get to Canadore games. So everyone bring your family, bring your kids, everyone.
Make a lot of noise.
It's all free admission, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we give out free pizza, free hot dogs, free popcorn as well.
Yeah.
So that's great. And it's I know it's great in the sense that we mostly have like afternoon games, like Saturday or Sunday afternoon. So people always tell me like, "Oh, it's great, Stephen, because we could bring our kids here." Because obviously it's tough to bring them to the later games at 6 or 8 o'clock at night. Whereas they can bring them there, and then literally it seems like there's that sometimes in games like we have like almost like a kids section in the corner. They're all there playing the basketballs or in the scooters or whatnot.
And to see what
absolutely
the older kids are doing. That's great.
It's great.
Yeah, we didn't. I don't think we covered any sports last year. Like, I don't think Dave got any footage of any Canadore games. I know we did some stuff with Lakers, but I wanted to make sure we get some stuff for Canadore this year because I know, like, obviously your program's big. I think I have to look at the other programs that Canadore has on because I know some of them on the website. I don't think they're like the hockey team. I don't think is still around.
There isn't an OCAA hockey league, so
it's still on the website. So I'm going to take a look and see what programs we got going. But I want to make sure we get out there and get some footage and stuff of you guys, maybe some interviews. And,
absolutely.
When you guys get to the playoffs, we can have you back on.
Yeah, like again, if you guys want to come out to practices, film sessions, right? You guys are more than happy to join us.
Fantastic.
For sure. Awesome.
Yeah, well, thanks for everything you're doing, and thanks for coming in, and just passing on, I guess, that coaching experience and knowledge that was passed on to you and paying it forward. So,
absolutely. Thanks for having me here, guys.
Awesome.
Great.
Well, this has been another Echo Sportscast Spotlight interview.
I'm Paul McLean.
And I'm Ben Sargent. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe.